So a big part of the lag and hitting the shot is using your legs to drive up. Now, as you see Simon here, he's driving up, so his body is exploding into the shot, but this happens with a relaxed arm. So the legs go up and drive, the arm is loose and the shoulder is turning to create that lag and power, but the power happens from that ground up.
Now, if I want to avoid that lag, it would almost be impossible unless I'm stiff. So in this position, if I'm driving with my legs, I'm using that uncoil phase. If I want to keep my racket and my hand level, so create no lag, I now have to be very tight with my grip and my hand. If I'm relaxed, this is going to happen naturally.
If you want to continue improving your forehand, we have a forehand PDF, completely free of charge, downloadable for you. You can either click the card above, or we'll leave a link under this video.
All you have to do is click on that link. That will take you to our website. You simply enter your email address and we'll send you that free PDF right away.
But the contact is a really important part of the shot. Obviously this decides where the ball goes and how hard the ball will fly off your strings. So during contact, you want to make sure that you have enough leverage here behind the racket that now I can't push back the hand as much. You never want to be in an open hand here. So the wrist is never open like this, because not only are you now going to struggle to go straight through contact because the wrist is extended, so now you're going to go across your body, the ball is going to go all over the place, you're going to struggle with your contact, it's going to be tough for you to maintain the line. So if you want to maintain a line going straight, you need that wrist back, and now I can maintain this forehand going all the way through at the same time as being quite firm behind it, so the ball will not be able to push your wrist back if it's in a nice locked back position. So that contact point is very important to be in that position with your hand.
Now, it doesn't matter if you're using the extended arm forehand or the bent arm forehand. Both styles, you want to be making contact in front of your body. If you make contact on the side of your body, as Alex has said, the only thing supporting that racket now is your wrist, and eventually you'll end up injured.
And actually it's a lot easier to make a contact in front by keeping the wrist back. All of a sudden now it's a natural thing to happen, and now the racket is back, because with that wrist it's uncomfortable to hit it on the side.
Now with the contact point, you want to feel that you have almost a triangle between both of your eyes and the racket head. Now if only one of your eyes, so let's say this is your right eye if you're right-handed, if only your right eye is working and seeing that point of contact, you won't hit the ball as clean as if you turn your head to actually see the point of contact with both of your eyes equally as well.
Now if you see all the best players, when they're making contact, their head is actually very still. It's stationary, so the body's moving, their racket is moving, so their shoulders are turning, their racket is moving, but their head is still. It's that motion of this rather than this. And you see players pull off shots. This is when a coach would tell you you're pulling off your shot. It's when you lift your head up too early, and this can cause severe problems with your stroke. The ball will go everywhere. You're going to find it tough to get the ball on target. So make sure, if you are one of those players that finds it tough to get the ball on target, make sure that you're keeping your head still during contact. It's a major thing that a lot of players get wrong.
Now you've made contact, hopefully out in front of your body. You've kept your eyes on the point of contact. Now it's all about that follow through and that finish.
Now the different finishes, like we have with many players, different techniques require different finishes. Now, what kind of finishes can we do?
So the first one, and the most common one that you'll see with ATP players, is where they're making contact and they follow across the chest. So this across the chest finish is the most common type of follow through you'll see with players like Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and many others.
Now an easy way to achieve that is to use your left hand. This is where your left arm, because you've coiled this way, then when you're hitting and the hip phase, the left arm pulls back, the elbow goes back here, and now my left arm is here where my hand can actually catch this racket. And some players catch the racket, some players don't. During matches, when you have maximum acceleration, the catch is not so important. When you're warming up and you're trying to get the feel for the ball, and you see with players like Federer, use this a lot, he will catch that racket simply to feel that finish there, and it will synchronize your body turn with the speed of your arm. It's very difficult to catch the racket if you're just going with your arm, but if you're going with the whole body, it now becomes a lot easier to catch that racket. So if you want to get a smoother stroke, if you want to synchronize your body, get better rhythm on your strokes, use that left hand to catch the racket. But again, it only works if you're not trying to apply way too much spin and you're not going for maximum racket acceleration. And the faster the racket accelerates, the more the finish will become over here.
Now when you want to go for a shorter angle, or let's say your opponent has rushed you at the net and you want to get the ball dipping into their feet, this more extreme windshield wiper motion will help you to get over the ball much quicker, produce less power, but produce that heavy topspin. So you're going from this point of contact, really focusing on quickly closing your racket over the top of the ball and then finishing down by your left oblique or your left hip.
Now someone like Rafa sometimes uses the lasso motion. This is exactly the same concept where you're accelerating the racket up as much as you can, but in this situation he actually accelerates it so high up that now he doesn't even go across, he goes over his shoulder and then around. And that's also an option usually on deeper balls. If you've been caught deep and you want to just get the ball up with a lot of topspin, the maximum topspin, then the racket just follows upwards over your head. So depending on the kind of shot that you're trying to hit, depends on the kind of finish that you will do, no matter what technique you have.
Now if you want to hit a little bit flatter and extend out more towards your target, you could also use the above the shoulder finish. And this is more typical with older players and players who have grown up with more of an Eastern forehand. They'll make contact, they'll extend the racket out, and then they'll catch the racket over their left shoulder like so.
Because if you think about why those players have hit flatter, right? If you go from here, the difference between this position and this position, the racket only travels this far. Whereas players who get a lot of topspin and they do this, the racket goes from here to here to here to here. There's a lot more racket acceleration going on. The racket path goes through a much bigger arch, so when it's brushing up on the ball, it has a lot more speed on the ball, therefore the ball rotates a lot faster, and that's what creates spin. So if you are a player that hits quite flat, you don't need to finish here, you can just finish more here.
There you have it guys, we hope you've enjoyed this video and learned something new.
Experiment with your forehand, try the different swings, try the different hitting points, try the different finishes and adapt it to the game style that you play.
Now if you have enjoyed this video, click that like button, make sure you have subscribed to the channel and turned on the notification bell.
Thanks a lot guys, and see you soon.